Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
This is Ashley Beckford with Infowars.com. I'm joined here in the studio with Joe Biggs, and today we're going to be talking about the terror threats surrounding the Rio Olympics.
Well, it's not even just the terror threats, it's the threats in general surrounding Rio de Janeiro as a whole. I mean, it has some of the most pollute air, horrible sand, fecal matter in it, and water. So let's talk about some of the statistics on that. This is an article by QZ.com. It says Rio's most dangerous levels of deadly air pollution are at the Olympic Stadium. Athletes competing in the 2016 Rio Olympics might be able to avoid swallowing Guanabara Bay's water as they've been advised, but there's no getting around the city's dirty air. An air analysis by Reuters and Brazilian researchers from the University of Sao Paulo found high levels of fine particulate matter. Now, in Rio, some 5,400 people died from air pollution in 2014, exceeding the city's murder rate of 3,117. So that's a lot of people dying from air pollution alone.
Wow.
You have over 6.4 million people in Rio, and you have some 500,000 people, spectators, coming in to that area as well. And you have the worries of Zika virus and all this. It's going to be crazy to see what's going on. Not only do you have to worry about some jihadi coming in and shooting you up or using a dirty bomb and blowing you up, but you got to worry about the air you're breathing, the sand you're walking on. Brazil is the 7th deadliest spot for shark attacks in the world. So you've got that as well, because a lot of these spectators are going to be staying in these hotels, wanting to go out to the beaches and hang out. It's going to be a very chaotic scenario.
That's true. I'm reading this article here about this NBC producer, Bob Costas. He actually has been talking about how we just need to keep our fingers crossed when it comes to the Rio Olympics, because some of the things besides the terror attacks that are feared by ISIS are doping scandals. A lot of Russian athletes have actually been getting suspended because they've been caught, taking extra enhancements. You have the Zika virus alerts. Brazil is, I believe, the hotbed of the Zika threat right now, the Zika virus. It's widespread there. They're saying that only a recent study is saying that only between 3 and 37 people out of that 500,000 that are going to be visiting would be expected to go home with Zika. But we just had our first birth in Europe. I believe it was in Spain, in Catalonia, where we had this first Zika microcephaly born child. So I think that it's very risky for the Yale School of Public Health to say that the risk is negligible when we have so many people traveling there and such a high rate of this mosquito going around.
Well, they always play this game where they try not to panic people, but at the end of the day, you need to install a little bit of fear, because that helps you stay alive. Fear is not bad.
Right.
People always want to say, oh, it's fear-mongering when you bring up Zika. It's fear-mongering when you talk about the possibility of a terror attack. Fear keeps you alive. When you're in combat, that's one thing that keeps you alive, is the fear of dying, because it makes you more aware of your surroundings, it makes you pay attention more, and it makes you take more precautions that most people normally wouldn't, that are being complacent and calm. And in New York Magazine, they said, as if Brazil wasn't already having a disastrous lead up to the Olympics, there's the Zika epidemic to consider. The country has seen 166,000 suspected and confirmed cases of the mosquito-borne virus. And we now know that it can be also passed on during unprotected sex. You're going to have people from all over the world going out there, meeting, using Tinder, hooking up, going out to bars. It's going to be a cesspool of, bad air, sand, Zika virus. It's going to be out of control. So a lot of people need to remain calm. Fear's good because, like I said before, it keeps you alive. Be aware of your surroundings. Pay attention to what's going on. Use bug spray. If you're staying in an area that's kind of opened up, like a cabana, get one of those mosquito tents to go around your bed. Don't take any chances. Use all those proper procedures that you could do to combat that. Don't go out. Don't be complacent, because you could be a victim.
That's true, and it's weird for them to actually tell people not to be afraid, especially pregnant women or women who are expected to get pregnant, because another study I'm reading from The Guardian here, the Zika risk at Rio Olympics are negligible, says this Yale report. But Another study has said that 1.65 million women of childbearing age in Central and South America will be infected with the Zika virus during the current outbreak. So when you have statistics like that, how can you not be fearful? How can you not, try to pay attention to, of course, bug spray and stuff? But what they're saying is that they're not going to be able to even control the population of these mosquitoes. What they're doing right now with spraying and everything isn't working. It's just spreading, and you have a population density of 13,000 people per square mile. So there's only,
We have Olympians that are tweeting out pictures. Hope Solo, she's a soccer player. She's the goalie. She says, not sharing this, get your own. She's got a mosquito mask and netting around her face, holding up insect repellent. And then you have another athlete who's outside spraying his arms with mosquito stuff. You have another girl, she's a Chinese gymnast who has a screen over her bed to protect herself from mosquitoes and Zika virus. And if you look at the temperature, if you look at the swamps, the muddy areas, the bad water, basically there was a guy who flew over in a helicopter and he said a lot of the waterways looked like sewage. And that is a breeding ground for mosquitoes. So it's like this perfect storm for that. So Zika is something you should care about. We've seen how the CDC handled Ebola, said it's not that big of a deal. It's not going to happen in America. And they dropped the ball on that big time. So don't ever take what the CDC says, as the word of God.
Exactly.
Look at the look at the risks, and then come up with your own plan, because that's your life. Don't go off what someone else is saying back in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right, exactly. And we have tourism even in Florida that's falling right now because of the recent cases. I believe it's a very small area of Miami where Zika is really flourishing there. So to say that it's not a threat and that people, can just put on bug spray and don't worry too much about it and keep coming to these tourist areas, it's really, it's not a reasonable.
Well, if you don't have to, if you're not completely worried about Zika, or the dangers in the sand, or the water and the fecal matter, the matter that you could die from, well, guess what? Rio police aren't going to be there for you.
Right.
Rio police tell tourists they won't be able to protect them. Violence is on the rise, and police officers are at loggerheads with the Rio state government after claiming they've not been paid for months. The message from police to tourists is clear. We won't be able to protect you. The state's police officers vented their anger with a sign saying, "Welcome to hell," outside Rio's main airport. Police and firefighters don't get paid. Whoever comes to Rio de Janeiro will not be safe. And this is happening leading up in the weeks to the Olympics, which actually start on Friday.
Right.
Rio de Janeiro Mayor Eduardo Paes told CNN this week the state was doing a terrible job in regards to security in the lead up to the games. Brazilian officials put on a united front to assure the world that Rio was up to task, even though the mayor and all these other people and police and first responders say, don't come here. And now on top of that, you have police. They have arrested 12 suspected terrorists trying to pull off a terror attack in Brazil. Brazilian police arrested 12 suspected planned this terrorist attack during the Olympics. The group was inspired by ISIS and mostly organized online.
Wow.
Not every single one of these groups has to be directly affiliated. They see what happens in Orlando. They see what happens in San Bernardino, in Paris, wherever, and they become inspired. And their ideologies are the same as the radical jihadists known as ISIS. And if you don't have to worry about Zika killing you or the fact that you could be mugged, stabbed, raped, or killed, guess what? ISIS feared to be plotting nuclear attack at the Olympics with a dirty bomb. So, yay, that sounds like a great time.
Yeah, and this is why a lot of, unfortunately, the athletes aren't even going to be showing up. They actually had, during the opening ceremony, they were planning on having Gisele Bündchen ripped off the catwalk and robbed in a mockery of how Brazil has the highest rate of robbery in its history right now. So, there's just so many reasons why people shouldn't go. But if you have to go, if you're performing or whatever it may be, you just want to participate in it. What do you think people should do? Because there's a heightened service demand that's going to be happening with communications. You
got to remain situationally aware of your surroundings. When you go into a building, find the exit. Find the quickest ways for you to get out of an area. We saw the attacks that happened outside of the Bataclan Theater and the cafes surrounding it. Be situationally aware. Complacency kills. Keep your eyes open. Make notes of the areas you go to. Keep notes of people that you think are acting suspicious. And if you see them again, it's probably something by design, that they're planning something. So keep your eyes open and don't be complacent, and everything can be okay.
Excellent. Well, I hope everyone stays safe, and stay tuned at Infowars.com for more special reports.
We have ended the big mega sale, the biggest in our history. Now, we have kept 3 items, though, this week. That's Brain Force, while supplies last, the amazing nootropic, for $17.76, normally $29. Leading competitors that have similar formulas are $60 to $70 to $80. So we're already a great deal at that price. It has some ingredients that are controlled or prescription in Europe. That's how powerful it is. Read about it for yourself at InfoWarsLife.com. That's 40% off. DNA Force, our flagship product. It's a big deal to offer 30% off on that. We're extending that. And then Vitamin Mineral Fusion. All the vitamins, all the minerals, the amino acids, the cofactors to help upload it. Great tasting fruit punch. Organically flavored. There's nothing else out there it's like it. It's amazing. It's plant-derived minerals. InfoWarsLife.com. That's 30% off. But I'm going to go further. Boom, here it is. Normally you sign up for auto ship, you get 10% off. You still get that on top of it. I'm doing free shipping on everything. Whether it's one Hillary for Prison shirt or a Bill Clinton rape shirt or whatever it is, whatever informational warfare weapon you want to help spread the word and meet like-minded people, free shipping store-wide. Free shipping store-wide. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you can get 40% off on Brain Force. You can get 30% off on DNA Force. I'm not going to sit here and belabor this. People should really go read and see the hundreds of studies that are there breaking down just what BioPQQ does and why this is such an amazing nutraceutical and why it's so important that folks take it daily, because the compounds in this are just amazing. I mean, you just know they're from God. But I'm not going to get into the science. Go to InfoWarsLife.com. Go there to the page for yourself, and you can check it all out at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsStore.com is the umbrella site, and your purchases make it possible, everything we do here. So I want to thank you all for your support, your prayers, and so much more.
We're not even able to post probably half of the reviews that come in. And the reason why is because if anyone mentions a disease or they got better from a disease, the third-party review sites that we subcontract out to that monitor these reviews, if there's any mention of a disease or anything in there, it can't go up online because of the regulations with the FDA. So please feel free to call in as much as you want. We love hearing about your stories. And this is just DNA Force, but you know, the best thing that I love to do and the best thing I tell people to do is just go online, InfoWarsLife.com, and just read all the reviews.